Last year, the Lincoln Chief of Police, Tom Cassidy, gave a presentation on nowhere to hide, like the pervasiveness of cameras, and that's when our next presenter went to work. And tonight he's going to nothing to hide, privacy, trust, and technology. He's going to tell you how to become invisible, I think. Aaron Alai, to the stage, please.
I was running the slides back there, so I hope the person who took over my job knows how to do it. Oh yeah, excellent. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to teach you how to manage your privacy. But before I do that, I want to address this rationale. It's extremely flawed and doesn't make any sense. We all do things, we all have feelings, we all think thoughts that we want private, we don't want others to know about. We all go to the bathroom, but nobody's want to go to the bathroom in a black glass box in public. And sometimes we have thoughts and opinions that we want to keep to ourselves and not let others know about. And so, because you keep things private, it's not a bad thing. In an ideal world, this wouldn't be such a problem. But unfortunately, we don't live in an ideal world. People judge, accuse, criticize, oppress, so on and so forth, and all those lovely things that make humanity, humanity. What about others keeping our privacy private, you might ask? Well, unfortunately, that requires trust, which is a mutual agreement between two parties. You trust me, and I trust you. Unfortunately, we rarely get this opportunity. If you take your bank, for example, you're forced to trust them with your personal information all the time, but they don't tell you how your data is accessed, who can access it, under what circumstances can it be accessed, how it's contained, so on and so forth. But I wouldn't worry about that too much, because I'm sure your information is perfectly safe in a bank. Well, to teach you how to manage your privacy, we're going to start with some low-tech solutions. First of all, you just turn stuff off. It's real easy. You turn off your GPS, you turn off your cell phone, your laptop, so on and so forth, and nobody will know what you're doing. But unfortunately, it's not very fun, and it's kind of isolating. So you can always lie. I lie all the time. I wasn't born in 1905, I didn't go to Mars University, and I certainly wasn't voted the freshest prince of Bel Air High. But that's real easy to keep some privacy on the internet. You can also do other things like sign petitions. This one's to stop a bill from being passed that would make every citizen who has access to the internet use a unique identifying number that identifies them when they visit a specific website, thus forever linking you to visiting a website. To understand these next techniques, you're going to have to know a little bit about an IP address. An IP address is literally a number assigned to your internet outlet by your internet service provider. So whenever you want to access information off the internet, you send a request to your ISP, your internet service provider, and then they access the internet and send you back the information. Unfortunately, that means your ISP can see what you're doing all the time, unless you have a VPN server. Now, a VPN server creates a nice tunnel between another computer and your computer, and that other computer connects to the internet for you, retrieves information, and sends it back to your computer through this really well-encrypted tunnel. Thus, your ISP can't really see what you're doing, and you have some privacy. Another great tool is peer block. I'm currently blocking over 900 million IP addresses from around the world. Nobody in this blacklist of IP addresses can access my computer. I block advertising agencies, anti-peer-to-peer agencies, governments, all types of stuff, and it's very convenient. You can also use a different type of internet. This is a decentralized internet called Freenet. Essentially, each computer on the network contains a small portion of the internet, and whenever you need to access that information, you go through a series of nodes, and thus it's hard to track what information you're accessing and who's accessing it. Firesheep, that says Firesheep, by the way, it's a really interesting application that came out a couple months ago. Because whenever you connect to a secure website, your information after that isn't very secure. And anybody with a Firefox browser and a laptop and a coffee shop can hijack your web session and order, I don't know, a crate of blow-up dolls to your house if you were on Amazon.com and they sideswiped your web session. block against this is HTTPS everywhere. After that initial contact with a secure website, it forces an encryption between that website and your computer. Thus, all transactions afterwards are not easy to detect. TrueCrypt and plausible deniability are perhaps some of my favorite ways to preserve my privacy. You can use it to, it incorporates a very robust algorithm, and you can use it to encrypt your files, your pictures, even your entire hard drive. And the best part is, if you're ever forced to give out that password, you give out a password to data that you don't care about. And so if you ever get in trouble, like at the airport, you just give them a password that goes to information that's not very incriminating. I know it seems kind of illegal, but it's a good idea. Anyway, you can always be somebody else too. The best part is a lot of networks, UNL, only use 2 authentication criteria, a MAC address and a computer name. If you access a public terminal, you can spoof your computer to broadcast these identification criteria and thus gain access to the network. Now, if any of you guys remember why I was talking about trust earlier, you should be thinking to yourself, why should you trust me? And the answer is, you shouldn't. None of you should trust me. I'm only here to make you think about privacy and have you look into it further, and to hammer the point that you can always hide, there will always be a place to hide, no matter what anybody ever says.
Take that, Tom Cassidy. Aaron, I really want to get together with you and talk about faking my death. I'm over this.